Welcome to this Junior's Gasoline Alley, where today we're going to be taking care of my Chrysler Crossfire and solving a problem that it's got. And that is that the center carrier bushing on the drive shaft is totally shot. And in fact, the Guibos or the flex discs are too. It's a quick and easy repair if you're a bit handy, and it'll solve that thumping, especially when you're accelerating in second gear and you just hear that rap, rap, rap. Under the Crossfire here, what we're here to replace is actually this piece, which is the center bearing. Now, I bought this car, the owner thought maybe there was an issue with second gear because when he was accelerating, it was making a thumping noise. Really happened only in second or third gear, but obviously that center bearing is totally destroyed. And I figure while we're at it, we can take care of these Guibos because you can see those beginning to crack. And you've got one at the tail shaft as well as the output shaft of the transmission. Here I've got the replacement parts. Now the center bearing is different between the manual trans cars and the automatics. Mine's manual, so that's our center bearing. That's going to get replaced and of course will make the biggest difference. And then I do have these new Guibos, which come with fresh hardware to reinstall. And that's a good thing because when we take a look at the hardware underneath, under the car here, basically this is all torque. And I'm curious how well that's going to come off. I suspect that's going to come off all right. But when we go back to the center bearing itself is torques as well. That'll come off, but you can tell the exhaust, well, that's in tough shape. And what I'm hoping, we'll find this out in a minute, but that because this is two-piece, I can take Guibo off and be able to then kind of pull the drive shaft out. We'll start with a little PB blaster to help blast through the rust, and then it's just going to be a matter of getting an 18 millimeter box wrench as well as a T40 Torx to start ripping these bolts and nuts off. This is going to be the same process on both sides of the drive shaft. You've got 3 of these nuts and bolts. Once you get it out and you've got the rear bolts off, then you can move to the center carrier bearing. That's going to allow you to get that unscrewed, allow the drive shaft to droop, and then you just really have to be a bit of a beast pushing through to get the drive shaft to release from the Guibo. And once it does, it'll slide off and you'll be graced by the tail shaft and the output shaft of your transmission, both being clean and ready for the new Guibo. And you pull that drive shaft out and you get to see that, well, that center carrier bearing in 2 totally separate pieces, just spinning around. And the Guibos, well, they're in fairly tough shape, but yeah, just look at that center carrier bearing holder. Obviously, this drive shaft was just, having a pretty bad day. And that brings us to getting this Guibo off of the drive shaft, and man, you gotta believe me when I tell you, they're just a pain. It like gets glued on, but old one compared to the new one, clearly the old one is in tough shape. The new one looks so much better. And because none of us are real mechanics anymore, just parts hangers, it's as simple as slapping the new stuff back together. The remains of the center bearing that are on the drive shaft, well, they got to be pulled off with my puller here. Yanks right off. Then it's a matter of slapping the new one on. A little bit of lube. That way it goes on nice and smooth. Then back into the transmission tunnel of the car. Bolt up on the center carrier bearing. And then we're tackling the connection to the Guibo again. 3 more bolts, zip, 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 and we're in. Well, there you go. New Guibos are installed, looking good. That center bearing is in there. Drive shaft is nice and snug. And up front, new Guibo as well. Looks good. I do wish I ordered up a transmission mount. It's not too bad, but that could definitely be replaced up. And I imagine while I'm at it, I could also do the motor mounts. Should that be something that comes too. But otherwise, driveline is all set. time to take this puppy for a drive. Make sure it feels great, but old Guibos are out on the ground, and that center bearing is in the trash right where it belongs. But yeah, there you go. Another work to get this thing rolling. I sincerely hope you enjoyed this video on the Chrysler Crossfire. If you did, I'd love a subscribe, as well as drop a comment down in the comment section below. Let me know what you think, or if you have any suggestions on how to do it better next time.